When demonstrating how Sage Intacct and AssetAccountant work together, I'll be showing you three things here. The integration itself and the setting up of the chart of accounts so that you can post journals with one click, classifications and dimensions support, and adding an asset via the draft assets mechanism straight from accounts payable. So when we go to register settings in AssetAccountant, this is the screen that you will be greeted with. And we've got a few tabs up the top. If we go to integrations, you are given the option here to log in to Sage Intacct. So let us connect to Sage Intacct with our credentials. And then we choose the entity. We'll just use this one for the demonstration and connect. And here we are. We are now connected to Sage Intacct. You can choose which journal that you're posting to. We will select just the general journal in this particular example. Now that we're actually set up and integrated with Sage Intacct, I'll show you how to enable journaling. You might recall that our asset groups are run down the left-hand side on the main screen. Let us just visit any one of those and scroll down to the settings, general ledger accounts. We're connected to Sage Intacct. If we edit this, we can nominate which accounts map AssetAccountant to where we're posting the journals. So this interrogates the chart of accounts in Sage Intacct. Very simple to do, save. Each asset group needs to be configured as such. The other thing that I'll show you is syncing classifications. So this is where dimensions are synced. So you can see we've got some that already exist in AssetAccountant. You may have none when you set this up for the first time, but the process is the same. So click on Sync with Sage Intacct Dimensions. Now let us say we just want department, location, and project, and all the other ones we don't want for journals. Save and next. Sage Intacct has department, admin services, sales, IT, and marketing, and we make sure they are reflected in AssetAccountant. If it's not there, we've got the option to create a new one. So let us go to next, location. We can see that they all map, save and next. And this is project. So project doesn't exist in AssetAccountant right now. So let us say we only want project B, project A, and project X and project Z. So let us go ahead and you'll see that AssetAccountant will then create that. And here we go here. So we've mapped department, location, and project is a new one. So these will be added. And it is as simply the process of clicking save, and now you can see that these dimensions are now synced with Sage Intacct. The next item I want to show you is there's three ways of adding assets in AssetAccountant. There's doing it directly through the interface by adding an asset. You can import using a CSV file that have all the information of every asset ready to import and be brought straight into the register. Or when you're integrated with Sage Intacct, we've got this wonderful function called draft assets. If you click on that, these are all of the assets that have been added into accounts payable that have not yet been added into Sage Intacct. And you can view all of these here. And let us say we want to add this cattle feeder into AssetAccountant. It is as simple as now adding in whatever code you like. You can just put feeder, whatever you like. Group, we'll put it in machinery and equipment. The purchase cost and the date and first use are brought in from Sage Intacct. This is where we can map some dimensions. Well, admin doesn't really make sense. Let's call it services. Employee, if that's relevant. Site. Customer, well, that's probably not relevant. Let's say this is in Brisbane and it's Project X. You might recall that's the one we just set up. Custom fields can be added, but we can run into that some other time. And then it is as easy as saving. That asset is now integrated into the asset register, which you can find by just doing a simple search, and there's our cattle feeder that has been brought in.